Okay. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for attending NYSTRA's 25th Annual Multi-Day Conference. My name is Jessica Andrianos, and I'm one of the board members for NYSTRA, and I'm your moderator for today's session. If you have any questions about conference-related issues, please message me directly in the chat, and I will reply. If you have any questions for the presenter, make sure you either raise your hand or write something in the comment section as well. Before we begin, I want to make sure that everybody has their mic muted unless you are asking a question or participating in discussion, because obviously you'll be talking over the presenter or somebody else that's talking. Also, please make sure to turn off or silence any of your cell phones or mute anything in the background if you have anything going on in the background, music or anything like that. If you are seeking CEUs for the session, you will receive 0.15 CEUs at the end of the session. There will be 2 requirements to receiving credit for any of the live sessions that you complete. At the end of the session, you will be asked to comment your full name in the chat section, and you will also be asked to complete the attestation form at the conclusion of the session. If you do not have this form or need this form, please email nystra2021@gmail.com. We have uploaded it, or we have sent it out, I should say, on our email thread, and we have also uploaded it on Facebook, but if anybody is missing that, please let me know. You do not need to send the form immediately after the session, but it does need to be completed and emailed in by June 13th. So just an update for everybody, we have an extra session that was added for 5 o'clock today. It is how to broach sensitive and difficult topics with clients with Sherry and Megan, and that is at 5 o'clock today, just so everybody is aware. So make sure everyone completes the attestation form before June 13th. If anybody needs any proof of attendance prior to that, like if they are recertifying and they need that before June 13th, please email the nystra2021@gmail.com. So today's session is titled Just Breathe, How to Foster Mindfulness as a CTRS During a Crisis. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Andrea. She is a certified therapeutic recreation specialist in Syracuse, New York, who works at the Nottingham. She has always dedicated her life to ensuring elders are treated with respect and honored in their community. Her mission in life is to expand people's minds by introducing them to ways they can honor and love themselves. Andrea has applied theories of mindfulness, conscious communication, and the power of breath with the aging community and in her own life. She is an advocate for self-love and recognizing the blessings around us. All it takes is one breath, a bit of sun, and maybe a sip of your favorite coffee or tea. So here is Andrea.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Jess, for that introduction. I'm very excited to be able to speak with you all today and do a little breathing. So today is definitely about learning how to be present and how to foster conscious communication. And we will learn about what conscious communication looks like and also what presence looks like. So I do have my email address that's on the front of this introductory slide, just for people to jot down, just in case you would like this presentation, or if you want to reach out to me outside of this presentation, this will be an opportunity for you. That is the email address I check the most. So here we are. A little bit about me before we get started is I do certified therapeutic recreation specialist at the Nottingham, and that is a retirement community, and it is a place for elders to age in place. There is all of the spectrums of elder care at the Nottingham, such as independent living, assisted living, and also memory care and skilled nursing care. So I split my time between the assisted living community and the memory care building. And over the years, I've been doing this for about 5 years now with Loretto. I've learned about how important it is to just take a nice deep breath. And there is so much power in just one breath. And it really is quite powerful, and it's quite amazing. So I'm very excited to be able to speak with you all about that today. So each day we take about 26,000 breaths on average. That's about 14,000 liters of air. We take somewhere between 4 and 6 breaths a minute, but most of us on average take about 16 and 20 breaths a minute. Experts say that from our breathing, we should get 99% of our energy. Most of us only access 10 to 20% of that energy. Keep in mind, we also have masks on throughout our day. I'm sure most of us who are working will have to wear masks. Most everybody should be doing that, at least if you're working in elder care. So 10 to 20% of that energy is probably reduced to about 5% if you think about it. So breath gives us a lot of that energy and a lot of that patience and a lot of feelings that we may be reaching for and accessing when working with people. So keep these points in mind. We access even less breaths when we wear masks for 8+ hours a day. So it is very, very important to take time to breathe with your mask off. Go into your office, shut the door, find some place to be able to have that access to your breath and access the energy that you deserve. So it all starts with one exhale and one inhale. I do what's called the 6 to 6 method. That means 6 seconds inhaling and 6 seconds exhaling. Before we get started with this exercise, a little bit about me. I practice the art of Reiki. Reiki is the Japanese method of healing touch. And Johns Hopkins University, as well as other medical places, have done studies that show with Reiki, you can increase your immune system, you can improve your digestion, you can lower stress levels, improve your sleep, and your overall quality of life improves with just that healing touch. And when I was doing my training to become a master certified with Reiki, we had to think about our breath and thinking about accessing and harnessing our own divinity. And I truly believe that we each have a source within us that is able to affect the world around us. What we give out is what we take in. And when you are giving out patience and when you are giving out love and kindness and the golden rule, we notice that we tend to get that back in different ways. And so breath is a good way to start because there are so many different words, there's so much different technology and terminology and this and that. You see on the websites how to stay healthy, how to stay patient, 10 steps to live your best life. But if you think about it, it really does just start with one breath. So with that in mind, I would like for us to be able to take a nice deep breath together. And when we are breathing, as you inhale, what I like to do is think about all of the things that I would like to cultivate and think about all of the peace and all of the patience and all of the health and all of the well-being and all of those things that we deserve. And I like to cultivate that with that inhale. And as I exhale, I like to offer that to the world around me, offer that world peace and love and patience and empathy and understanding. And I would like for us to be able to try that. So that's the reason I wanted to do this live, so that we could all be able to be on the same page and breathe together. So if you don't mind, we're taking one deep breath for 6 seconds and one exhale for 6 seconds as well. So thank you for those who breathed with me. I appreciate your time. These are some mantras that I say to myself and that I'm offering to you today. And these are mantras that you can also offer the populations that you work with. You can adapt these mantras throughout your day. And you can also offer these, again, like I said, to the people around you. I like to introduce the concept of taking things moment by moment. Because if you take things hour by hour, I'm sure most of us have seen that things change in that hour and things change minute to minute. So by taking things moment to moment, that lowers your expectation and that lowers levels of disappointment and that lowers any type of bad outcome if you take things moment to moment. So I have these points here. Just for this moment, I have no anger. Just for this moment, I am not worried. Just for this moment, I am grateful. Just for this moment, I am peaceful. Just for this moment, I carry no grudges. Just for this moment, I am connected. Just for this moment, I practice with honesty. Just for this moment, I have compassion. Just for this moment, I am kind to all things. This is a mantra that I take through with myself before I practice Reiki, before I do a program, when I'm breathing to myself in my office. I go through these mantras and I make sure that just for that moment, I'm allowing myself to have no anger, to not be worried, to be peaceful, to carry no grudges, etc. By working with memory care as well, by working with folks affected with dementia and Alzheimer's, you do learn very quickly that the day is carried out moment to moment. One moment we may like one program, the next moment we got to switch and I'll pull out a back pocket program and we'll move on to something else. So allowing that moment and allowing yourself to welcome new moments is very, very important. So the breathing exercise that I do with myself and with my residents and with people around me is when you inhale, you say just for this moment to yourself. And as you exhale, you say the mantra that follows. I also have on this slide to inhale peace and to exhale what doesn't serve you. Now, I use the words what doesn't serve you, and I mean that in the sense of anxiety, worry, stress, expectations, disappointment, low self-image. Those things are things that we learn, and they're things that we don't deserve within ourselves. And we always have the opportunity to access self-love and to access the ability to see the world around us as beautiful. So if you would like to do this breathing exercise with me, that is what we will be doing for the next amount of time. And so by breathing in, we're saying to ourselves, just for this moment with this slide. And as we're exhaling, we're saying the next mantra. This is going to be a guided breathing meditation. So as you are inhaling and exhaling, I will be saying these mantras to you so that you're able to keep track of what we're doing and that we're all on the same page. So if you would like to join me in this breathing meditation, that would be wonderful. And we will all be able to carry on the rest of the presentation with this meditation in mind. So as we inhale, cultivate all of that peace, deep breathe into your center. Just for this moment, and exhale, I have no anger. As we inhale, just for this moment, exhale, I am not worried. Just for this moment, deep breath in. As we exhale, I am grateful. Just for this moment, exhale, I am peaceful. Just for this moment, deep inhale. As we exhale, I carry no grudges. Deep inhale, just for this moment. As we exhale, I am connected. Nice deep breath in, just for this moment. Exhale, I practice with honesty. Nice deep breath in, just for this moment. I have compassion. Nice deep breath in, just for this moment. Exhale, I am connected. Last deep breath in and inhale all of the peace. Nice deep breath in, just for this moment. And exhale, I am kind to all things. Thank you for those who are breathing with me and for those who chose to do that exercise. If you would like to do this in your own time, I highly suggest that as well. By utilizing that 6-to-6 breathing method and keep those mantras in mind. So this goes into a little more detail about living moment to moment. Like I had mentioned before, to be and act a certain way for one whole day is a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially when we're caring for elders or children or aging adults, younger adults, whatever, even for yourself. Taking things moment to moment takes off a lot of that pressure that we may put to be a whole way for a whole day. That's 8 hours or 24 hours or 12 hours of a certain way. And that's a lot of pressure for oneself. So living moment to moment offers you the opportunity to add a little compassion to yourself in your day, which will then in turn add more compassion to others around you. For those with different behaviors and Alzheimer's and dementia, living moment to moment is key. Life will change in an instant. Nothing is permanent. And the Buddhist method also talks about this, that nothing is permanent. That mantra of impermanence does help. It really does. And that means that if you're feeling angry or if you're feeling something that is eating at you or not serving you, that will then in turn be returned with a moment of happiness. There's that power of duality where with every bad moment comes another good moment. So nothing is permanent. If we can be at peace with allowing elders to live moment to moment, we should also allow ourselves to be at peace with this notion as well. If we can allow it for ourselves, we can allow it for others and vice versa. Living moment to moment and practicing the just for this moment mantras, both within yourself and with elders as a meditation program, the day will become easier and more peaceful to navigate. So on that point, I have cared for over 100 residents in my day in the same day. And when you are balancing all of that energy and balancing all the different behaviors and different conditions that people are in that moment, by living moment to moment and doing these mantras for myself, I found that my patient levels actually increased. I was able to sit with people and compassionately listen to them and hear them from their perspective and their reality in that moment. And it helped us carry on our day a lot easier. During the crisis, when the pandemic was at its highest point, I had elders who were very concerned with their families not seeing them. And they were concerned with all of the loss that was happening around them. And they were grieving. They really were. And we were as well as caregivers. We have been grieving for the past year. If anyone has lost anybody due to this pandemic, my deepest condolences. And also if you've known people or residents who you've cared for who you've also lost because of this pandemic, my thoughts and blessings are with you as well today. Practicing these breathing methods really helped me because I was grieving a lot this past year with residents who I had lost as well. And while we are all grieving together, we're also all breathing together. And it gave me a little bit more hope in my day, knowing that the just for this moment mantra was an option, knowing that living moment to moment is an option. That helped a lot with balancing my grieving on top of the anxiety, on top of the energy around me. The just for this moment mantras and breathing really helped for me to sort through my thoughts and sort through the residents' thoughts as well. Today, restrictions and policies change in an instant, and these breath mantras may help everyone navigate those changes with peace and understanding. As hard as grieving is, and as hard as loss it has been for this past year, the breathing never changes. That is one constant that we can rely on in this world of change. The one thing that we can rely on, or at least I rely on, is that I will breathe, I will inhale, and I will exhale. That will always be a constant for me. And so I've been reaching for those constants. What isn't changing in my day today? And breathing seems to be the one thing that never changes. So I offer you that mindset as well today, to rely on your breath, rely on the constants in the changing world. Policies are constantly changing, I'm sure, in your facilities and, you know, the world around us. So presence. I like to have fun with my words. I like to do wordplay. So I incorporated that word Zen into presence. The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, nor to worry about the future, but to live the present moment wisely and earnestly. Now, Buddha, of course, said this, but as we all know, that is easier said than done. So practicing that patience within yourself is also key. If you are present and quote unquote really there while listening, then that will also come through in your body language. So I'm sure in our training and in our schooling and just throughout life experiences, we have learned that active listening is very important when working with people. So when we are looking at our computer screens, when we're looking at our phones, when we're fidgeting a lot, when we're looking around instead of looking at the person who's talking with us, that may give off a tone to the next person we're with, that we are not present and really there for somebody. So by practicing the art of presence, the just for this moment mantras that we had gone through, that will help the other person feel like we're really there for ourselves and for them. This gives the person talking to us a vibe and feeling that we are really listening to what they have to say. And in this time of a crisis, I'm sure whether you work more in an administrative scale or whether you're more in the program facilitation scale, I'm sure you have had to be presented with conversations that maybe we weren't ready for, where someone was talking about their own experience. They had their own stressors, outside experiences that were carrying into their workday. And so the art of active listening and that presence that we talk about, that is so crucial, especially during this crisis. It is so crucial to be present and to listen to what that person is saying and really allow ourselves that opportunity to connect with someone. That's so important these days, connection. So this leads into our next question. What helps you feel present? So have that conversation. By thinking about peace, we will feel it within ourselves. Presence and peace is just as contagious as worry and fear. So decide what you want to spread to your elders. This pandemic and crisis has taught me what kind of a space I would like to foster as a recreation professional and as a mentor. So for my elders, not only have I been the person who puts on programs, I've also been the person who creates community. I've been a person whose shoulder people can lean on, and you all have as well. We have acted as Verizon consultants, we've acted as Zoom consultants, we've acted as a hand to hold, whether you're wearing a glove or not. We've acted as a lot of different roles, whether it be a therapist or not. We have had to spread our wings a little bit and act in ways that we had not necessarily been expected to act as. So in that changing time of our role, we think about what kind of an atmosphere you want to foster. Would you like to foster worry and fear and all of that interesting mindset? Would you like to foster that type of environment, or would you like to foster presence and peace and a safe space that people can sit in and express themselves? Finding that quote unquote normalcy starts within. So decide what kind of environment we want to spread to the world around us. So one way to practice presence is by practicing conscious communication. And that can happen in 4 short steps. At least I've condensed it to 4 short steps. So what is conscious communication? Deepak Chopra says, emotional well-being flows from the ability to clearly communicate what you want in life. When people feel vulnerable, they commonly compensate by becoming demanding and threatening, believing that forcefulness will increase the likelihood of getting what they want. So remember this point when an elder is yelling, throwing objects, insulting others, and etc. Help them access the love within themselves and remind them that they are safe. So this was something that I have come in contact with, a type of behavior where someone may be yelling, throwing things, demanding, acting in ways that one may think as forceful. And it's important to remember that they're feeling energy that they may not have felt before. They haven't seen their families in a long time. They feel maybe a little bit of abandonment as well out of this pandemic. And so when people feel vulnerable and when they feel a way that they haven't felt before, that's when those behaviors may become a little bit more present. So something that I do with residents when they come to me and they're wondering, where's my family? What have I done? How come they're not coming to see me? I sit with them and I practice the breathing method with them. I do. And it does help. It really does, because I help them access that love in themselves and I help them access that peace that they're looking for from the world around them. And while it may help only momentarily, at least for that moment, they did feel a little more peace and less of that anxiety. I notice with the folks who I care for in memory care, especially, that when they are wandering more and when they're feeling more overstimulated, whether it be because of a thought they're having or the music around them or just overstimulation from the environment, by having a moment to breathe with them, it acts with the same effect as prayer does for them as well. And for us too, by having that moment to sit down and having the moment to allow that vulnerability and create that container for our vulnerability is so important. And that's why the breath comes in. It's all tying together in one big circle. That's why the breath is so important, because it is the first step to accessing that vulnerability. And it is the first step to accessing conscious communication and safety. So, step 1, breathe, slow down. With every inhale, gather joy, compassion, patience, and growth. Welcome those elements with each breath in. And with every exhale, let go of what does not serve you in that chaotic interaction or event of a trigger. Release yourself of the conditions of fear, loss, doubt, and worry. The awareness and recognition of chaos is an opportunity to transmute or shift the energy of that situation. Be grateful for the recognition of what chaos feels like, as it is a mirror into what we don't need. So the mantra that we had practiced before, the just for this moment mantra, just for this moment, I'm grateful. So this may be a point that you may or may not have heard before, but be grateful for those moments of chaos. Be grateful for those moments where you feel a bit off. Be grateful for those moments, because that is a learning opportunity for how to create something that is different than that feeling. You are able to recognize it, so you're able to shift it. You're able to change how you are feeling and change the world around you a little bit. Step 2, listen. Not everyone can directly voice their needs, as I'm sure we have all seen. Be compassionate of this difference. An outburst of any kind may be their way of asking for help. And remember, we're all doing our best. When people speak with you, do you really hear them? Do you listen with your intuition? What is going on behind the scenes? So the mantra that I access when I'm listening is, just for this moment, I practice with honesty. I'm listening honestly, I'm welcoming other people's honesty, and I'm listening to what I think about something. I'm listening to my body, and I'm also paying attention to someone else. So I've noticed with my folks in memory care especially, that because they are unable to voice their needs all the time, that reacts with all of the explosive behaviors that maybe we have seen. And so I noticed that when I am really hearing them, and when I'm thinking about what could be going on in their minds or behind the scenes in their life, that helps me to be a more compassionate listener. Step 3, I call it divine action. Take advantage of your ability to control your actions and words that come next. I call it divine action, not reaction. There is no set path to take to reach your own inner peace, but our perception of events along the way makes a huge difference. Take advantage of phrases that help everyone feel recognized, like I hear you, I see you, you are appreciated. I can only imagine your situation and the feelings you must be having. How can I help you navigate through this? By using these phrases, I find that people respond more honestly to me. And I do this for myself as well. If I am feeling burdened, if I'm feeling burnt out, if I'm feeling the grieving that I've experienced, by telling myself, I hear me, I see me, that helps. And it does help my residents as well. When I sit down with them and I say, I can't imagine what you're going through. How can I help you navigate this? That is what I consider divine action. I'm using compassion rather than a direct reaction. A point that I put down here is fear is the best author, but compassion is the best editor. Accessing that compassion within yourself. If you were experiencing something that someone in front of you is experiencing, how would you want them to react to you? So the mantra is just for this moment, I am compassionate. And I associate compassion and divine action to be tomato, tomato, at least in my dictionary. And the last step, self-care and digest. As infants, we relied on caregivers to provide us what we need for survival. As we age, we gather ways to communicate our needs to others. Becoming confident in telling yourself what you need will reflect in how you convey your needs to your community. Your peace starts within. Never be ashamed of taking care of yourself. Your cup is only as full as you allow it to be. A closed office or a room door does not always mean isolation. Take some moments of peace in your day. Teach elders how to access their peace. Another point that is so important these days, do not forget to go outside. The joy of nature has no age limit. Allow elders to feel this joy when possible as well. So that leads to the mantra, just for this moment, I am peaceful. So the one point that I want to focus on for this step 4 is never be ashamed of taking care of yourself. That is the one point that conscious breathing and mindfulness offers us as well. Do not be ashamed of needing to take care of yourself. And I hope that you will repeat that to yourselves over and over throughout your day. Never be ashamed to take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to care for others? And that's a point that this pandemic has taught me a lot. As a recreation professional, I feel that I have grown exponentially because I have had to accommodate and adapt to the world around me, to be compassionate to those around me as well. And in that time, there were moments where I was a little uneasy about whether or not I should shut my door. I was worried that if I shut my door, it would mean that I was intentionally not wanting to be there for others. But the person who taught me about mindful breathing, her name is Amy D'Angelo in Fulton, New York. And she taught me the art of not being ashamed to take care of myself. And I'm so grateful that she had told me that, because now I'm able to tell you all today about not being ashamed of taking care of yourself, because we're not ashamed to care for our populations. So we should not be ashamed ever to take care of ourselves. So the remainder of the presentation here is talking about a program that I have implemented called Tap into Peace. And this is a program that I do with my population, and I've also done this with my community outside of work, an opportunity to bring that awareness to yourself and to access that inner peace within yourself. So the first thing that we do is the just for this moment breath exercise. We go through those, I think, nine or 10 mantras that I had listed before. And after doing that, exercise, then we have a conversation about peace and about joy. I ask them, what helps you feel at peace? I ask what helps you feel joyful. What's nice about breathing is you don't have to spend a dime. It doesn't take a lot to breathe, which is nice. During the pandemic, our budget was cut a lot, as I'm sure other facilities and other places had budget cuts as well. And what's nice about this Tap into Peace program is all you need is breathing and a voice. Now, a way to adapt this program if somebody is not able to vocalize is by offering expression through body language, offering them to share a dance or to share a facial expression or to share some sort of a sign that helps you know that they are feeling better, feeling peaceful. So bringing awareness to yours and their body language. Are you tense? Are your shoulders near your ears? Are your brows furrowed? Are you clenching your jaw? How are your hands? Are they relaxed? Are you sitting still? Bring awareness to that body language, and that also helps your breathing to be a little more clear as well. So let's see here. We'll move on. So using all of the senses is so important. We listen to the sound of nature, we open a window, listen to the birds, the wind, the leaves, the chipmunks, talk about what you hear. Can you smell anything? Can you feel the wind? Can you taste the air? Even just opening a window and doing this program next to a window helps if you're not able to go outside just yet. I know a lot of skilled nursing facilities are still their restrictions are still pretty high. So I'm not sure if everyone is able to go outside just yet. I know certain places you can, but if you can't, going near a window helps. Playing a virtual nature walk and a bird animal sound may also invite those peaceful feelings. And you can find those on YouTube. If you type in virtual nature walk or a virtual hike, you can find that where someone may be just crunching through the leaves, you're listening to the sound of that, you're hearing the birds. Although it's on a computer screen, we've been using computer screens as our saving grace this whole time, so we may as well access peace from them as well. I like to stray away from loud music or typically music at all, just to invite that moment of peace, invite that moment of silence. Invite nature into the room. Music does elicit joyful feelings, and we associate memories with music. I definitely hear that, and I like that. But we hear noise on TV all day. So take a breath, take a break, transform the environment. It's okay to have those moments of silence. It is so important. I don't know about you, but when I'm driving home, sometimes I need to have the radio off. I need just a moment of silence. And that is so important. So if I need that moment of silence, I'm sure people who we care for need that time as well. And maybe they're not able to give it to themselves for whatever reason. So that is what we can do. Moving forward, that is what you can do as well. Turn off that TV. We hear the news, we hear it all day. So taking that breath is very important. And as a close, bring your and the elders' hands together. We call it in gaucho, that means praying hands. Bring that together and say namaste. Namaste means the light and divinity in me recognizes the light and divinity in you. And that's why people say namaste at the end of a yoga practice as well. That's what that means, to recognize the inner divinity in each other. So this is a condensed, simplified version of what the Tap into Peace program is. So it's a good way to offer that serenity, offer that breath, offer listening to nature, listening to the birds, listening to everything, and paying attention to your senses, paying attention to what your body is saying, how you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you can taste. Taking that moment to do that program with someone will introduce them ways to be mindful in other ways as well. Also, I know I mentioned the budget. However, if you do have access to centering and grounding fragrances, sprinkle them around the room, invite the elders to smell them. These lower the fight or flight response and invite the feeling of presence and protection. Don't simply sniff. breathe them in, invite their healing properties. So I have a list in the following slide of what those grounding fragrances are. But just a point about centering fragrances. If noise is too much, if taste is too much, if other senses are too much, sometimes a certain fragrance does help. And especially with elder care, we do have to be careful about what scents we are introducing due to allergies and whatnot. However, especially with using frankincense or lavender, using those fragrances does prove to lower that fight or flight response. And it does help to help people feel a little more grounded and safe in their surrounding. So before you do the Tap Into Peace program, having access to those fragrances may help you as well. So here is the centering and grounding oils. Sandalwood, cedarwood, frankincense, all of these on here. A lot of them do help with lowering that stress level. If you've ever used rose oil on yourself or incorporated ginger into your diet, any way that you can incorporate these into your life are very, very important. Cinnamon is a very easy one that we can find. And most of these, especially the cinnamon, the chamomile, and the ginger, these are things that you can find in your grocery store. You can find cinnamon and you can put it into a little bag, or you can put it in a little cup and just hold it under someone's nose, including your own, and it offers that grounding opportunity. Lavender, especially now that we're getting into the nice summer months, finally, we can use that lavender and that lemongrass. And those lavender and lemongrass, those are actually more associated with uplifting and self-love. So the lemongrass especially, it is a citrusy smell, but it does help someone with feeling a little more joyful. I don't know if you smell lemon and you feel joyful or you feel a little more awake, but something about lemongrass tends to at least make me smile a little bit. Grapeseed, you can use that oil if you find actual grapeseed oil, or you can also find that online as well. Geraniums, if you plant them, bring them in and put them in a vase, that always helps. And the fir trees, we're in upstate New York, you find fir everywhere. So a lot of these things are something you can access right in your backyard too. I use frankincense. I have one right here. This is my frankincense, and I use this to center myself. I put it on my earlobes, and just by rubbing that on my ears, I automatically feel a little more grounded. And you can do that for a resident who you're sitting with as well. You can just kind of rub it on their hands or their ears, and they might feel a little bit better. So what's nice, I will add in about lavender, is that if any of these scents are too much, if they cause a headache for somebody, if it's just an overstimulation, lavender has a nice way of grounding even more. It is the key, in my experience, it's the key oil that helps offset the other scents. So if the frankincense is too much for them, if the cinnamon is too much, if someone can't handle the rose, typically the lavender is a good way to offset that discomfort as well. So I'm going to be going back a few slides here because I do want to revisit some points. So I'm going to go back to the just for this moment mantra. And I have given you a lot of information in a condensed amount of time. So if you would like to join me, I would like to do this mantra again. And this time really think about inhaling all of that peace and exhale all that does not serve you. Tap into your own peace. Let's do this program as a group together. And so we would start with the breath. So that includes sitting up straight, sitting up nice and tall. I like to have my hands, I have them palms up and I have them placed on the top of my thighs. I'm just sitting here nice and straight because I learned that the straighter you sit, the more your energy can flow, the more you're able to take in and to give out the world around you. Also, the taller that you sit and the more open that your body language is, this helps with active listening as well, because it shows somebody that you are open to hearing them. So let's take some nice breaths And I invite you to do this breathing meditation with me again. And this time we'll take our time. We'll really take our time and we'll really breathe. If you would like to rest your eyes and close them, that is welcome as well. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Breathe in through your center and imagine a deep white light that may start very tiny and it may grow, but imagine that light in yourself. And imagine it grow with every inhale and every exhale. It may look like a little lantern light, but it's there. And let it grow and let it grow with every inhale. And as you exhale through your mouth, let that really sink in. Feel the relaxing breath. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your feet relax. Feel your chair. Feel yourself center. And we'll take some nice deep breaths together. And we'll exhale. Imagine that light in your center. That white light is growing and growing. You might even feel a bit warm. That's your inner light. And it's always there. It's ironic that we have to see it with our eyes closed, but it's there. Welcome that light. Welcome that growth. Welcome these breaths. Deep breath in for 6 seconds. And exhale. Another deep breath in for 6 seconds. And exhale. Last deep breath in for 6 seconds. And exhale. Just for this moment, I have no anger. And exhale. Just for this moment, I am not worried. Deep inhale through your center, focus on that light. Just for this moment, I am grateful. And exhale. One more deep breath in through that center. Just for this moment, I am not worried. Exhale. Focus on that light. Focus on your breath. Focus on the sound of your breath. Just for this moment, I am peaceful. Exhale. Inhale and focus on where your breath starts when you're inhaling. Where does it begin? Just for this moment, I carry no grudges. Exhale. If you feel anxious, if you feel twitchy, if your body is starting to lose focus, nice deep breath in. Just for this moment, I'm connected. Nice deep breath in. Just for this moment, I practice with honesty. Whatever feeling you do have through this breathing meditation is welcome, is valid, and is okay. Nice deep breath in through our center. Just for this moment, I have compassion. Focus on where that exhale ends and where our new breath begins. Just for this moment, I'm kind to all things. Exhale. When we're wearing our masks all day, it's easy to remember that we are so disconnected. So remember that we are kind to all things, including ourselves. We're allowing this space. We're allowing our breath. We're allowing that deep inhale and deep exhale, and we're allowing our light to shine. We're allowing this space right now for ourselves. And exhale. I would like to take 3 last very deep breaths for this part of our exercise. And as you're doing this breath, allow that breath, allow it for yourself. If you feel kind of silly or if you feel whatever, it's okay too. But let's allow this time at least for 3 breaths. If we can't breathe for ourselves, what can we do for the world around us? So let's take a nice deep breath in through our center and focus on that light. Rest your eyes, rest your body, rest your hearts. Deep breath in. And exhale. Make sure to breathe in with your center and not with your chest. Deep breath in. And out. Last breath in. And exhale. If you are feeling peace from this exercise, if you are feeling comfort, if you are feeling anything that allows you to grow and to expand, remember this feeling and know that you can give that feeling to the world around you and that they are just as deserving. So, another point that I would like to focus on now is to open a little bit of a conversation by doing this. So what helps you feel present? You can feel free to either unmute yourself or to comment in the typing section. But what helps you feel present in your day? Also, how do I check the comments if there are comments being made?
So there is a comment section to the right. I don't see any comments coming up yet. I wrote taking time to stop and breathe. I can read them as they come in if you want.
I see it now here. Okay.
Making art or being in nature.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. That's great. Marty, I'm a singer too. I love singing. Yes, taking that time to sing. I say singing is praying twice. You know, Marty, karaoke means silent, what is it? Silent disco or something. Karaoke in Japanese. That's funny. Plants, yes. Gardening, yes. One point on plants, I utilize plants so much in my day because they give us our oxygen. We're talking about breathing so much. I've got my bonsai tree over here. And trees, plants, they give us that oxygen that we are breathing with today. Without those plants, what would we have? Coloring. I just got into coloring, actually. Even as a kid, I wasn't a big coloring advocate, but these days I'm all about it. Thank you, Katie. Yes, singing is beautiful. Listening to those birds. Thank you, Matt. Yes, these comments are beautiful. Thank you all for them.
So I got a coloring book that is all made of curse words. and it's like mandalas out of curse words, and it's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna go look for it and see if I can find it real quick, because it's the best thing I ever seen. And somebody got it for me and they were like, you as a rec therapist need this. So hold on, let me grab it.
I love this. Yes. Oh my goodness. Speaking of curse words, you can incorporate those into your breathing mantras. If you are breathing and you need to focus on a word or you need to focus on a number, you can't quite find that light that we had just been accessing. If you think of a swear word and you say it nice and slowly as you're exhaling, that might help relieve some stress. And those are okay.
Okay, I found it. So if you guys could see it, it says, you're totally badass. It's basically like all different colorings. And then there's super inappropriate stuff in there, but then there's stuff that's like super funny. Like there's one that says, hell yeah, right? And then there's other ones that have super bad curses, but I think it's a great idea. If I didn't work with kids, I would totally be using it with my patients.
Oh my God. Yes, that is beautiful. So if those mantras are a lot to remember, because it is a lot, if words are not what help you feel centered, use a number. If I'm inhaling, I'll do a demonstration. If I'm inhaling, I exhale and I say 1. Deep inhale again. Exhale 2. Focusing on that number rather than a statement may also help you as well. Since I am a published author, I rely on words to help me function and digest the world around me. But if you're more of a numbers person, that's okay. And if you're a numbers person and you're in recreation, bless you. I did recreation because I did not need as many numbers, and I like that. Oh. Now, before we move on, are there any other comments about what help you feel present? I want to make sure to allow you the space if you haven't commented yet. Comments going once, going twice. Okay. Oh, singing. Thank you. Very good. Okay. So next, something that helps me as well when I'm practicing this breath exercise with residents and with myself, I actually cup my hands in front of my mouth and my nose, and I will take a nice deep breath in, and I will exhale as well into my hands. And when I do that, I'm exhaling that energy and that love and that peace into my hands, and I spread it around me and out. That is my way of both energetically shielding and also giving out to the world what I would love for them to have. And that is the love, understanding, patience, which is key. So let's move on. We're going to be revisiting some points here, but I think revisiting is very important. Okay, what's going on here? Technology. You'd think after using technology this long, we would be a better. What's going on here? Oh, I found it. Here we go. Thank you. Okay. So the point on conscious communication, I'm going to open up that chat again. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Katie, for your comment on my hair. We'll talk about color therapy in just a moment. For conscious communication, I'd like to open up our chat again now. How do you incorporate conscious communication and active listening in your day? And if you have any questions, this would be a good time to ask about conscious communication as well.
So when I'm doing active listening, I'm making sure that my body language is really representing to my patients that I'm really there. I make it a point to kind of lean in, to put my hand on my chin, or make sure, you know, I look them straight in the eye as long as they're comfortable with that. You know, obviously giving them the space, but making sure that they know that I'm physically present with them in the moment. And then I engage with the reflective listening on top of it, where it's, you know, they'll say the statement and then I'll say, so what I'm hearing you say is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this way, you know, we teach a lot about that, especially in crisis management, as you're talking about, how to maintain that therapeutic relationship. And a lot of the times what happens is my patients, or, you know, people in general, they will just kind of act out and not really understand what the emotion is that they're trying to convey or what's going on. So when we do that, you know, clarification, it kind of helps them as well as helps us to recognize what is, you know, actually the issue. So I think that's really important, because otherwise, you know, I'm assuming what I think you're saying, but it could be completely off. So just my 2 cents.
Definitely. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, I do that as well. I like to make sure that I'm clarifying what I'm hearing so that the person does feel heard. Absolutely. I'm going to read this comment here. This is from Matthew. Thank you. Looking at and turning my body towards the person I'm truly listening to, respond to what the person is saying through listening and clarifying what their feelings are and how they're feeling. Yes. Yes. The collaborative problem solving, I like that a lot. I do. Yes. I also practice that both with myself and with my residents, making sure that we're all on the same page of how we can all move forward. Marty, I try to separate out content from process. I mean to try and figure out what the other person means, not how they say it. This way I'm not reacting to their voice tone, which may be different from the emotion they are conveying. Yes, very much so. Something that I'm learning in memory care is how someone conveys something may not be what they're intending. So I may have someone yelling, I'm thirsty, really, but they just really want a glass of water and they don't know how else to convey it other than that original forceful tone that we had talked about before. When someone feels vulnerable, they will create a demanding experience because that's the way they know how to get what they need. You know, it's an act of survival sometimes. And when we're doing that for ourselves, it may come off as very aggressive to the person listening, but it is very important to differentiate the voice tone versus what they're really getting at. I appreciate you saying that, Marty. That's something that I am practicing as well. I like a point you made earlier. I'm reading this kind of out loud. I hope that's okay. That people are trying their best. When you use collaborative problem solving, we look at people as not purposefully doing something bad, but more like missing some skills in how to handle certain aspects of life. Yes, very, very good. Thank you for saying that. Yes, we are all trying our best. That's very important to remember. And it's important when we're driving to remember that as well. That's another point that I like to bring up. Yes, we are all trying our best, especially during this crisis. So showing yourself that compassion will help you show others that compassion as well. I've also started another program called What Makes You Strong. And I know we're in Older Americans Month as well. So the theme this year is about strength. And I've started a support group called What Makes You Strong. And that is where we all sit together and we do that collaborative problem solving, where I ask them, using the different aspects of life, cognitive, social, the different domains, physical, emotional, and spiritual, how are we strong in all of those domains? And I list those out for each person I'm speaking with. I use a whiteboard so I can erase it, but I list out those domains and I ask, how are you strong in those domains? And that really helps them sort out within themselves, are they doing enough for themselves? And could they strengthen those domains a little bit better for themselves? And if it comes to a point where they are not sure how to strengthen a certain domain, that's when I open up the space to others and I say, how can we help this person? Let's say his name is Rich. How can we help Rich be a little more spiritually strong? And with all of them working together, that helps us all build that community. I'm sure as recreation professionals, we've all truly tapped into the beauty of a community and how important that is to create a safe community, especially during this crisis, creating that community, whether you're wearing a mask and spaced, even so, we're all spaced out together, and creating that community is key. So I create that floor for people to speak about the different domains. That can be another way to practice the conscious communication as well, to incorporate the what makes you strong into the conscious communication tap into peace program. They can all overlap, and you can increase your skills as well as theirs. Now I've got to do another thing here. We're practicing technology. So that patience comes in with technology all the time. Okay. So something else I want to mention about divine action, not reaction. Sherry, you had touched on that about how to not react, but to digest and to respond in a way that helps the other person feel heard. That is what divine action means. I wanted to provide that clarification. There are no set paths to reach peace, but our perception of events along the way makes a difference. That is the point that I truly want to have y'all remember, at least with this step. There are no set paths to take or reach peace. No matter what website you look at, no matter what book you read, everybody always has a different story. And your story is what matters to you. And that is what you should focus on. Because people's perceptions of what you're doing is their own perception, and that's not your fault. Also, using those phrases, I hear you, I see you, you are appreciated. Those are very important to mention as well. And I do that, I do say those to the people around me. I thank them for what they are saying. I make sure that they know they are heard and that they are seen. Something that I've noticed with my population and with the people I care for is that because they have not seen their family members, and because the crisis has really turned some things upside down, they may not feel as heard or as seen, because they may feel a bit shut away or disconnected from the world around them. And maybe we feel that way within ourselves as well. And that's okay. That is a valid feeling, to not feel seen and to not feel heard. But it can be better. You can make sure to tell yourself, I hear you, I see you. Because if anyone's got to hear you and see you, it should be yourself. So once you can say that to yourself, you can then say that to the world around you and really mean it. Really mean it. Compassion is the best editor. Fear is the best author. We are really the best authors for ourselves. We create thoughts and we create situations like what ifs. We always ask the what if questions. What if this? What if that? And it is important to sort out and problem solve. But when you're starting to ask yourself more what if throughout the day than you should, that's when compassion can come in and edit some of those fearful thoughts. And it's okay to be afraid, but compassion needs to take a step in sometimes too. And if the thoughts are what is too much during the day, that's when the breath can silence all of that. Just one deep breath in, one deep breath out, silence. It typically works. Okay, so here, bringing awareness to your body language. Again, referring back to Sherry, how you talked about active listening body language. Now this body language is more about peaceful body language. By sitting straight up tall, by not creating any barriers. I will mention that when active listening, as you lean in, I find energetically when I scrunch up, I'm not able to digest as well because my body is a bit scrunched. And so when I sit up nice and tall and really allowing that breath to happen, that helps me hear the world around me a little bit better. So focus on that breath, focus on your shoulders. When you scrunch them up towards your ears, you get a headache. So make sure they're nice and relaxed. Make sure your jaws aren't clenched. I notice that when I get more into my head, my jaw will clench more. So make sure that when you're practicing that breath, we're trying to get out of our minds, right? So unclench that jaw. Sometimes if you're breathing, even if you have to just sit there with your mouth open, make sure there are no flies around you, but it does help to sit with the mouth open just to practice what a relaxed jaw feels like, you know, just to practice what it should feel like. I even massage my face. It looks absolutely ridiculous and silly sometimes, but hey, silly and laughter are sometimes the best medicines too. Okay, so now I would like for us to do some more breaths. I'd like to bring it back to that breath floor and focus on what we feel and hear and see. If you're looking with your eyes open or if you're shutting your eyes, what do you hear around you? What do you feel? How do your legs feel in your chair? How do your feet feel on the floor? What are your hands doing? What are your shoulders doing? Make sure to bring that awareness to yourself and just practice listening for a moment. So I'm going to rest my eyes and take a nice deep breath in through my center. And exhale. And I'm going to focus on what I'm hearing. And I'm going to just use the word hear within myself. Every time I hear, just using the word hear. Nice deep breath in through the center. And out. Nice deep breath in. And out. Even if it's the sound of my voice, if you hear it, just label it as hear. Deep breath in through the center. Exhale through the mouth. Practice to the sound of your voice as well when you're breathing. Practice listening to that. Is it even? Is it shaky? How does your mouth feel when you're inhaling and exhaling? Just getting to know what your body feels like when you are at peace. As you smell things, you can say smell. As you feel things, you can say feel. And just work on labeling those things to yourself. And once you've labeled your environment, delve into one of those scents or feelings that come natural to you. If you are a person who likes to hear the world around you, delve into that hearing. If you're someone who likes to smell the world around you, delve into that smell, focus on it. If you're someone who is about more touch, focus on that feeling you have in your body. Focus on the domain or the scent or what you hear. Focus on that. Nice deep breath in through the center. And exhale. Focus on what, not why. And exhale. Make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Make sure your hands are gently placed and your back is nice and straight. As we are breathing here and focusing on our sense and our feelings, picture a face that brings you light. Picture a face that brings you love. And focus on that face. Focus on what that face looks like. If the face is smiling, if the face is serious, focus on what that face is doing. And focus on the feeling you get in your center and where in your body you respond to that face that brings you joy and brings you love. And do nice deep breaths and focus on that face. Focus on that love, focus on that joy. And where in your body you feel it the most. Deep breath in with that face in mind. Exhale through the mouth. Now I'll invite you to gently open your eyes again and gently regroup, gently find yourself back to the now. We store our energy in different parts of our bodies. When I'm thinking of my mom, I feel it in my chest. I feel it right in the center. And I make sure to know where in the body I'm feeling this, because when I am meditating or when we are breathing, by putting your hands where you feel it and breathing into that place where your hands are resting, that will help you elicit the feeling of joy and love and peace that you are searching for. And you'll know where in your body you can access that at any time. And I do this also with my residents when we are doing the deep breathing and the Tap into Peace program. I had talked about grief briefly through this presentation, focusing on that face of someone they may have lost, or focus on someone they are missing, or focus on someone with us still today. Focusing where in their body they feel that person helps with finding peace, and it helps with their grieving process as well, because that person is always in that part of their body. They're always stored there, and they can access them at any time within themselves. It teaches them and it promotes independence on how to access peace and joy in yourself instead of looking out to the world around you. If the world is in a constant state of chaos, as it may feel right now in this crisis, how can we find peace from others? We have to access it in ourselves and find where in our body we can store and access that love anytime. And it promotes that independence for people as well. So with that, I have about 15 minutes left here. So this is my comments and questions section. We had a little bit of a group talk before, but now is a good time to add any extra questions or comments that you may have, and we can spend time focusing on those questions for a little bit.
Do you have any tips for any of us that have a very hard time, like shutting our brain down and not thinking about every million other things going on? Because I struggle with that a lot, being able to focus on one thing and not think about everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to just relax sometimes and be able to do even something as simple as this.
Yes. So incorporating movement into your breath, that is what I can suggest for you. If you are breathing, and I can do a demonstration if you'd like. When I'm breathing in, I bring my hands up as I breathe in, and I exhale and I bring my hands back down, I bring my hands back up as I inhale, and maybe I'll do a different direction as I exhale, but focusing on that movement with your breath as you're inhaling and as you're exhaling, that may take your brain, your focus from what's happening in here into movement with the world around you. I relax Tai Chi. I suggest Tai Chi for relaxation, and Qigong, Q-U-I-G-O-N-G, Qigong. It is the divine mother of Tai Chi, and it's about accessing that peace through movement. So if you do have a lot of thoughts going on at once, Qigong and Tai Chi are two great ways to incorporate motion so that you can take it from in here and maybe bringing it a little outward, a little bit more for yourself. Movement helps energy move. Those Qigong and Tai Chi are also great for elder care because it is not too harsh on the joints. They don't have to do quick movements. And it is good for you as well. You don't have to focus on breathing too heavily or moving too quickly, just that slow movement, bringing your arms up and down, moving your legs, feeling in your body where that stress might be held and releasing it through movement, getting that energy flowing.
I was
Hi.
also just gonna oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy.
No.
I was gonna briefly
Oh.
mention quick, I feel like I've had more issues with like getting headaches and stuff like that. I think because of how much more we're on the computers lately too.
Yes.
And how
So-
much we have to use technology that I've had to like make sure I take a break where I just close my eyes and relax for a few minutes each day. Otherwise, I'm like really feeling it by the end of the day.
Right. So that's where the oils and scents can come in as well if you're feeling those headaches. Mint and lavender are great for headaches. At least I've found for myself. I hope they work for you as well. But I find that mint tea helps me a lot. And lavender, when I put it into my hands and I do that cupping exercise where you're breathing in and out, the lavender helps with the headache as well. Another indigenous technique that I've learned is when you have a headache, imagine a red ribbon, and it's winding from your feet, winding slowly all the way up to your head. And imagine that red ribbon just tightening, tightening, tightening. And then imagine slowly releasing that red ribbon. Imagine it releasing from your head all the way down to your feet. And it, focusing on that for some reason, it seems to help. I don't know the logic behind it, but I've heard it and I've tried it, and I get migraines. It helps. Bubble baths help too.
Anyway, I was going to say that over the last year, I have, for this Westerner, which we all are, I have taken up meditation and yoga. And one of the biggest helps that the yoga teacher has said is, you know, as we're meditating at the end, just your mind's going to wander. Accept that. It's
Yes.
okay. Find where it's wandered to and just come back. You know, it's a sense of, you're going to do this. Don't punish yourself. It's okay. And that's been, I don't know if that's enormous. It's helped me enormously to realize that it's okay. That makes sense.
Excellent. Yes. And that ties into we're all doing our best. You know, everything is fine. Every part of our human experience is meant to happen, and it's okay to have thoughts. Are there any other questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you because I feel like I am a lot more relaxed than I was this morning. I know with yesterday doing all this nicer stuff, I was like really like all over the place, and I needed this morning. So thank you.
Oh, good. Of course. And if anybody would like a copy of this presentation to use for yourself or with others around you, my email address is on this title slide, which I will bring back so that you can write down. So I'm just going to go back to that. Couple more. There we go. So this is my work email. This is the one that I check the most. So feel free to write this down, reach out to me. If you would like to hear about Reiki as well, if you want to explore Reiki and what that means, because I am master certified, I can also attune and train. I am working on a curriculum right now to attune and train medical professionals, and especially those in elder care. I am working on a curriculum to help them become Reiki certified as well. So if you're interested in anything to do with that, or just want to talk about meditation or need this slide, feel free. The rest of the email.com. Ooh, thank you for that. It is lorettosystem.com. I can't believe I didn't put that in. I apologize. Okay. And you know, as you're thanking me, I am a reflection of you. So thank yourselves for taking the time to breathe. Thank yourselves for feeling the call to come to this session, and thank yourselves for the work and the peace that you have to offer.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. Please make sure you fill out your attestation form again by June 13th. And enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much, Andrea, for all your knowledge today. I feel so much better.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Nystra. Thank you, everybody. Take care.